We should be live.
Awesome. We're live.
All right, all right. How's it going, guys? Are you
Good.
guys?
Good.
Are you guys not doing it? Do you do an intro?
Yeah, Devin will
Yeah.
introduce us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
I'll introduce in theory.
Great.
I'll introduce poorly. That's my specialty. So, all right. So, welcome to another exciting episode of Nerds from Nowhere. I'm your nerd host Joe. I'm your nerd host Joe
And I'm Devin.
because I was looking at Joe. I'm your nerd host Devin, and with me is
Ronnie
Nerd
G.
host
Blevins.
Joe.
Yeah.
And Ronnie Blevins.
and Ronnie Blevins.
Didn't talk over you, Ronnie.
Yeah.
How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
We're so
I'm really
great.
good. I'm grateful for you guys having me on.
We're so
Oh,
glad for you to be here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. So,
Sure.
for those of you listening and for those of you who might be watching, Ronnie, he's an actor. He's been in over 100 movies and TV shows. Is that right?
Yeah, it's about right for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I know for sure that you were in The Dark Knight Rises, the new Death Wish movie, and I actually just watched this today because I was curious. But movie with Nicolas Cage called Joe,
Ooh, yeah. It's a good.
and that one was pretty good, and your performance was really kind of disturbing.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean that was David Gordon Green, who's I think just one of the great versatile directors, a guy that can direct something like Joe and then direct something like Pineapple Express. He's really something. He kind of has the job that I think everyone wishes they can have. He's not bound to any genre, and he's well regarded in every genre he tries. He can kind of do whatever he wants. I think and he was also my favorite director to work with. Um, uh, just there's a level of uh, trust on his films and improvisation, and he's very experimental. Like he'll try, in that bar scene in which me and Nick Cage get in a fight. He'll come in and he'll do one take. He said, let's do one take where no one talks. And I love that kind of stuff, man. So he's I think it's something that is probably most proud of. So there must be some sort of correlation between the level of fun you're having, the level of trust for the director, and the way it all comes out. I would imagine.
Yeah, it was a good movie, and
Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks. It kind of was like a stepbrother to Mud,
okay.
and
Mhm.
Mud came out a year prior, and Jeff Nichols and David Gordon Green are buddies, and it's the same kid from Mud, Ty Sheridan, who's kind of a star now. He was the star of Ready Player One.
Mhm.
I don't know if you made that correlation. That's what I want to see. I haven't seen Ready Player One. I really want to see that.
It's good. Yeah, I didn't honestly make that connection in my brain.
Yeah, yeah. Good, talented kid for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you prefer movies or TV, or are they too different to compare?
No, I don't really prefer one to the other. I just think wherever the ritual material is, I play a lot of villains, so my baseline is being grateful for working, right?
Huh.
Because there's such an ebb and flow in this industry, and so I really just try to connect up to a certain level of gratitude for the work that I do get, because God knows there's some lulls. So if I'm working, it tends to fall into the category of something I'm grateful to be doing. Now, within that, there tends to be a difference between movies and TVs, particularly procedurals, like network procedurals. And by and large, that difference is the the pacing. So if I'm doing like a scene, like an interrogation scene, they want that back and forth between you and the other actor to be kind of like a volley, like a tennis match. He says the line, you say the line, you say the line. Whereas, movies and to in many regards, TV shows which are on cable, hour-long dramas and whatnot that will allow you to take those beats to respond. They want to see what's happening between the lines. So that can be a little frustrating because I don't know how realistic it is when you have, just pick a kind of any network show that's been running for 10 years, procedural. It's the cop comes in, da 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 da. The criminal knows exactly what to say, da 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 da. They're just on top of each other's lines. But that's not how it works in life. In life you're asked a question, you take the beats, you're thinking about it, and I think that's far more interesting and to play as an actor. So that can be a little frustrating when you're trying to take your moments, and the director says we need to speed the pace up because there's a certain pace, which is consistent with the style of the show.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
So yeah, it really doesn't. It doesn't make a difference. I've done movies, and I was really that were some of the great experiences, and I've had some TV shows that were pretty cool too. So yeah.
Huh. That's interesting to me. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, it's kind of interesting because when we first got word that you were interested in coming and being on our show, I'll be honest, I didn't recognize your name because,
No worries. Yeah.
And but so I looked you up on IMDb and I recognized your face because you're in. Yeah. You're in a lot of stuff.
In a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I honestly, I couldn't quite place you. And so I started going through and then I started kind of watching your stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, that's who he is. Like,
yeah, he's in almost everything that I like. So that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Do you kind of get that a lot? Like people are like, I'm not sure who you are, but
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting that you say that because I think that I think there's a lot of that. I think that maybe let's say maybe once every a couple months someone will come up and say, hey man, you're in that thing, you're good, and that's always nice to hear. It happens it happens infrequently enough that I never know what it is. I always presume it's someone I know, and then I'm like, oh yeah, because it happens pretty infrequently. But I do get a lot of like people that kind of double take thinking that but I think that they probably think LA, like maybe he lives near me or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's a funny thing. It's certainly, I guess it's gratifying on some level. It's only when people do recognize you, it's not that it's gratifying, when I'm as it relates to the ego. It's more it can be a barometer to like this. I want to work. I love working. So some sort of sense of notoriety might equal some sort of some sort of not demand, but like it might mean that I can work again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it only appeals to me as it relates to me having some sort of identity in which people might want to see me in something else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they become familiar with you and they say, oh, who would be great for this? Ronnie.
Exactly right. Exactly
Yeah.
right. And I'm speaking specifically of like the casting community.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because I am very much, you know, I tend to play a very general, very specific, you know, casting, which, you know, they say that, you know, they say you don't want to be typecast, but that's kind of exactly what you want to do at first. You just want to start working. And then I guess the idea is to just be so good at your casting that you break out of that casting, not too unlike Peter Sarsgaard in Boys Don't Cry. You know, you play some Darrell, and he was so good in that, then they let him do other stuff. You know,
Yeah.
but
Right.
so it's good. You know, it's just it's a lot of fun. You know, but the ebbs and flows are pretty brutal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot like contract work. You don't, you know, you get a good paycheck, but you don't know when the next one is coming. So
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. It's really good money, and if it was being extrapolated over 12 months consistently, there'd be no concerns in the world.
yeah.
But you know, I would venture to say that even an actor that quote unquote works all the time probably only works 8 months out of the year. You know what I mean? Which would probably be as long as I don't know. That's just I don't know. I don't know how true that is, but you know what I mean? That no one's working all year round. Maybe some people are, but not me. I'm certainly not. You know?
Well, it's got to be hard getting those big paychecks kind of all at once. I know if I got paid my yearly salary at the beginning of the year, I would not make it. I would not make it to the end.
Well, no, that's actually a good point. But for me, for the last couple of years, it's been backloaded. So it'll be very, very slow, and then it starts to pick up the second half of the year, usually the last quarter. So usually by December, you know, I know in December I was thinking to myself, okay, you know, I was on vacation with my wife in Mexico, and I was like, okay, we're in a good spot. We could actually go, you know, 4 or 5 months without panicking, and without working and not panic. And you know, and that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, for whatever reason, it tends to be backloaded into the second half of the year. And that's exactly what happened to you. You know, it's tough, but you know, hey, I signed up for it. It's also, you know, it's also extraordinary. I've gotten to go to some cool places and work with some of my heroes and become friends with some of my heroes and work with on some films that and some shows that people hold in high regard, you know. So that's cool. That's cool because I've always been a fan, you know. I've always been a movie buff and a TV. I just loved it, you know, so much, just to where I would just, you know, watch things, and then I for me, I just loved it so much that I had to be more of an active participant in the whole thing, and that's why I became an actor, you know.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Well, and you and I were talking. Joe was having a little bit of internet difficulties before the show started, and you were saying that you really liked Christian Bale as Batman, and you were on that third Batman movie. I mean,
yes, yeah. So I'm a little biased, I presume.
I was curious. Are you or do you like those movies because you were in them, or did you like them first? And I mean, was that just awesome to be a part of it? Or
No. Batman Begins floored me, and Dark Knight was really special too. And I had no idea that I was going to be, you know, that when I watched those films, of course. I just like Christian Bale because I think that I don't know. I always measure the strength of Batman by the charm factor of his Bruce Wayne, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that, you know, Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne is pretty damn charming, you know.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Chris Nolan is a master I just think he's great, man. You know, he can kind of do whatever he wants. He gets away with whatever he wants. He could take a 3-hour movie, and you can have Batman getting out of a well in India and making it to Gotham in about 5 minutes, and and it all works.
And it works, yeah.
Because that's he's Chris Nolan, man. He's just a badass. He's just cool, man. And funnily enough, I got to work with his brother, Jonathan Nolan, on Westworld. So that was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. I saw that that was on your credits. Although I'll be honest, I have not seen Westworld yet, but I hear it's really good.
It's good. It's great. And it's great. I mean, it's great. It's something you have to kind of focus and maybe watch a few times, but it's outstanding. It's great. It's high art. You know, it's pretty insane. You know.
Yeah.
But those are talented brothers, man. I just watch that stuff. God, those guys. I could watch Chris Nolan do anything, man. I love him. He's so good, you know?
Yeah, and just the cinematography in his movies alone, you know, aside from story and direction, the cinematography is always amazing. They're beautiful movies to watch.
That's right. Wally Pfister is his DP, and he's just fantastic, and he's super cool too.
Oh, cool.
He actually went on his own to start directing, and he directed Transcendence. That was his first movie, which was pretty good, talented guy.
Yeah.
So, who's y'all's favorite Batman?
Oh boy, that's a loaded question for a couple of nerds.
Man, I'm gonna have to go with Michael Keaton, just because that was like the first time I ever really watched Batman.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
pretty good.
And the first time Batman was really kind of gritty and dark, like the comics portrayed him.
Yeah.
You know, Adam West's Batman was kind of campy and fun, but they brought it a lot, but they brought it to that realness, that grittiness. I really like.
You're saying Michael Keaton as well.
I think, and people will disagree with me all day, but I really like Ben Affleck. I think he's a terrific Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, no, I think that that's the beautiful thing about the series is that there's a Batman for everyone.
Yeah.
Well, and I might not have enjoyed the movies that he played Batman in as much. I just think that he's a good actor, and I would love to see a Batman movie directed by him.
Oh God, he's such a fantastic director. God,
yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, that's true.
He's really good. Yeah. There were rumors for a while, but I don't think it's happening now.
That he was going to direct?
Yeah.
Do they know who's directing? Is there there's not a Batman movie coming up, is there? It's just the Joker, right?
Yeah, they keep going back and forth. So the last I heard, they had a Batman movie coming up, but it wasn't going to be a Ben Affleck Batman movie. It was going to be somebody else.
I have no idea. It seems like every time I check the news from DC's cinematic universe, it's completely changed everything.
Right, for sure. But they're definitely making the Joker film, right?
Yeah, in fact, I think they're making two. They're making it like an origin story, and then they're making Jared Leto Joker film.
Oh, wow. Yeah, origin. That's amazing. We were talking about that when you were offline. They've never made an origin story. Is that right?
Yeah, not for the Joker. In fact, it's kind of interesting that they chose to make a movie of that, because it's been kind of part of the mystery for the Joker. There's been, several different suggested origin stories for him, but he's never really claimed one.
Right.
So no one actually really knows who he is. So it's interesting that they're going that direction.
For sure, man. It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Hopefully they do well.
you mentioned that you got to work with some of your heroes. Who are some of your acting heroes that you've actually gotten a chance to work with?
Well, Nick Cage was always a hero of mine. I've always thought that he's been someone who's kind of expanded the art form. We've for years we've just been for decades and decades. Since Brando, it's been when the first time Marlon Brando was on the waterfront, he was just he was being natural, and then came the age of naturalism, which was decades of that, and it's been reduced to such an efficient art form, that now there's just this stillness, which is also quite beautiful, but now I notice through the years we're having a hard time hearing actors now. Everyone's whispering, do nothing. That's what it is. It's decades of acting coaches and saying, do nothing, do nothing, do nothing. So, and then, you say, God, I can just watch Gene Hackman shave. He didn't have to do anything. Do nothing. So you got these people that are just, I don't know. I mean, it's great. It's just been gone so far in that direction. So when Nick Cage is coming out there and doing something different, I recognize that from back when he was doing Valley Girl, that it was something that was out of the box. It wasn't conformist. It was outrageous, and so he was always someone that I looked up to. So when I got to work with him, it was the best. And he turned out to be just as insane and fantastic as I hoped he would be. Yeah, he was great. And then Val Kilmer, I wrote a movie called American Cowslip. Val Kilmer would play my brother. Of course, Val Kilmer I love since The Doors, Tombstone, just so many great movies. I think that Val is one of the great character actors. So those two are the guys that immediately come to mind, so yeah, just two fantastic actors,
Yeah.
So
you touched on it a little bit, about how you got interested in acting. What was your first role, and how did you really decide that you wanted to do this for a living?
Well, I decided that I wanted to do it for a living long before I got my first role, my first real role. You when you first come out to LA, you do a lot of stuff that's meant to build your reel, build up your chops, and so in that process, you got to consider you've come out here, you're not in the union, you're not very good, you don't have any credits, so you're getting student films and short films and maybe like some non-union films that never really get distributed or never see the light of day. So I certainly did a handful of those, which I really wouldn't consider my first bit of work. But I would say that the first TV show I had was ER in 2007. And that was something I was really proud of, it was my first chance to show up on set and I worked with Stanley Tucci. I worked with some very cool people. And it's whenever you book that first TV job, it's always affirmation that okay, I belong here. I can do this. It's special.
Yeah.
And I've since worked on probably 50 shows on some capacity, and every time I walk on set, it's always like the first time for me.
Yeah.
I get the butterflies. I get excited. It's like the first day of high school. I look for people I know, and actually the night before, I'm looking at the call sheet and saying, okay, who do I know? who do I know? Who can I say hi to? It's, and that's why I know that well, that's why I just feel so grateful for the career, because it's just consistently provides a level of fulfillment, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So anyway, that's a ER effectively.
So did you act when you were a kid? Did you do theater or?
No, I was always too scared to do theater. So I was on the stage crew in theater in high school. And then, but what I was doing was I was going to the library and getting scripts, like books that had scripts in them. And back, I came from Texas, so I didn't really, I never really thought of the idea of being in the entertainment business, as it relates to commerce and making money. It just not something I really ever considered. But I loved storytelling, and I loved making movies. And I'd make movies all the time on a VHS recorder with my little brother. So I went away from that, in college, and then it kind of came full circle when when I graduated college and I went to go work at a mutual fund company, and I realized, probably a few months in, that this is not where I needed to be. Yeah. So I fumbled my way out to LA, really knowing how to act. So probably from the age of 22 to 30, I just came, studied at various schools, various teachers, a couple of great teachers, and just kind of dug in, and I allowed myself to not create any unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
I just said, okay, if I'm relatively young, I could just dig in and learn this, and I would be in class and I would do work, and before I even started working in class, I told myself that the measuring stick of whether or not I would stick it out would be, I had to figure out if I even liked it or not. And as I thought I would, I loved it, and it stuck. So I was on the journey of learning how to act effectively. You're always learning, but getting some sort of technique, and that's what I did. And so, I didn't really start working until I was 30. I worked, but it wasn't really a professional career,
Yeah.
So until I was 30, and that's when I turned 30. I started making money.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Why don't we move on to our current addictions? We just talk about a little bit about something that we're currently into, be it movies, books, TV. Devin, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of cheating because I actually finished watching this just the other day, but I've been very addicted to it.
Okay.
But I got really addicted to oh gosh, now it left me. Jack Ryan, the new TV show that was on Amazon Prime.
Oh, great! Tell us about it.
Yeah, so it follows that character, Jack Ryan, who I'd always known growing up from like Clear and Present Danger and those Harrison Ford movies. There were a couple of them, but Hunt for Red October as well. Stars what's his name, John Krasinski from The Office,
right?
Who I always have a hard time seeing as anybody other than Jim from The Office.
That's right.
But he does a great job, and it was really fun because he in the show he's your he's in the military, or he was in the military, but he's not like Jason Bourne or anything where he's kind of just beating the crap out of everybody that comes after him and all this. Like,
right.
He's an analyst. He's a smart guy first, and so like the few times he's in a fight, he's definitely like struggling just not to die.
Right.
But it's all kind of about him catching things that other people don't, because he's very intelligent. And so I thought it was really fun in that regard.
So you bought him in the role.
Yeah, definitely.
Good.
So,
Okay, well, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, me too.
it's definitely worth your time. I think I liked it.
do you have one for us, Ronnie?
Yeah, I have two.
Okay, that's
All
allowed.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I pick two?
Yeah, you can. Have two.
We've been binging, and we just finished Ozark with Jason Bateman.
Okay.
Which is, probably pretty. I think that's one that a lot of people are watching. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't, but I've been hearing the guys at work are talking about it all the time, so it's probably next on my list.
I haven't seen it.
I would say I was a big breaking. Listen, my number one all-time favorite show is Sopranos. Okay, so that's what everyone is trying to. Breaking Bad was up there. I think this is better than Breaking Bad. It's so good, so good. Yeah, Jason, not too unlike Jack Ryan. Jason Bateman is kind of an against type guy, and the unlikely villain, sort of, and it works. It works. It just works on every level. I love it.
That's such an interesting role for him, like you said, because he's a really great comedy actor.
Fantastic, one of the best, right?
Yeah.
And then I would have to say that Get Shorty on Epix is another great one. It's a remake of the. I'm sorry, it's a kind of not a remake of the movie, but it's based on the movie, but far more edgier and dangerous than the movie.
Okay.
John Travolta's a great actor, but he kind of played this ex-gangster that was charming, and you just never in the movie you never really saw the this guy used to be a gangster, because he was just slipped into the role of great producer. But in this, it's in the TV show played by an Irishman named I can't think of his name, but he's great. Chris something or the other, but it's he plays the gangster turned producer, but it's much harder to leave that life, and there's much more carryover, and they don't sugarcoat it. He's still a gangster, so much to where you almost think, are they making this guy too much of a gangster? Is he likable enough to be the lead? So fantastic show. So these are the two that my wife and I are all over.
All right, I'm gonna have to check those out.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah. What about you?
My wife and I have been binging Lethal Weapon, which when I was looking through your IMDb, I noticed that you're on there.
That's right. I just wrapped it. Yeah.
That's so great.
That's great. So, the first seasons.
Yeah, so I think the first two seasons are up on Hulu. Is your episode? We haven't made it through season 2 at all.
Mine is the season 3 hasn't aired yet. I'll be in season 3, just one episode. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's so awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I was like, I was looking and looking like, why didn't I recognize him? Why didn't I recognize him? See, he's been on here, but
well, that. Well, I shouldn't give you spoiler alerts. I'm not going to say. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. It's like, I'm going to be able to say, hey, I know that guy. I know him.
Right on, man. Yeah, man. So cool. That's really neat. I should check the show out. I've seen an episode or two, but I should just watch. It's worth going back and watch it from the beginning?
I think it is. And something that it has over the movies is they've given these characters so much depth.
Right.
They've given the main character especially, it has so many issues, but so there's these way over the top action scenes, and then it's surrounded by this guy with real world issues that you can relate to.
Sure.
So I've really enjoyed it. The over the top action is always great, and then you get to have some feels in the middle too. So.
You know what that's an element of? Forgive me for geeking out, but that is an element of the showrunner and a guy who directs a lot of the episodes, and his name is Steve Boyum.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Boyum, the reason he's so good at the action sequences is because he was a stunt guy, one of the great stunt guys in Hollywood for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
So not only is he a great director because he's a great director, but he's also a great director because they get him for a lot of these action sequences because he was literally a stuntman for decades, a great stunt guy. So, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's great. I'll check that out. I'll check both those out. Forgive me, Jesus. I don't know what's happening here.
No, that's okay.
Sorry, the lighting just got bad. I'm gonna have to go in the other room.
That's okay. We're not too picky.
Okay. Okay. I'll put it right here. Sorry.
You're fine.
And never apologize for geeking out on something, because
that's what we
love
do.
That.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
So,
yeah.
We've always said that a nerd is somebody who is passionate about something. So if film and directing and acting is what you're passionate about, then you're a nerd for that. So you're our perfect guest.
Well, man, I tell you what, I could talk about this stuff literally all night. And it's outside of my wife and my son, it's something that I derive so much pleasure from. Even if I had never stepped foot out here, I would still just be again, I'm a fan, man. And that's, and I'll always be a fan first. And I think that's what feeds the enthusiasm feeds the enthusiasm which enables the lulls. It feeds the enthusiasm which makes me inspired to do good work and study hard, you know what I mean? And read scripts over and over again and rehearse over and over again because it's just something that I just have had a love affair with for long before I was an active participant. So I'm glad I'm a nerd.
yeah, that's right. Well, it's that passion. Not everybody gets to be involved with what they love or get to have a job that they're passionate about. And it's so energizing to be around people who love what they do, even if you don't understand it. Like, I'm not an actor, but when I see, your excitement for it, it makes me excited for it.
Yeah,
definitely.
Thank you, man. Thanks for saying that. That's really cool. It's really cool. It's nice of you to say. For sure.
You're welcome. We love it.
We do. Yeah, it's awesome. Should we take our quick sponsor break, Joe?
Sure, yeah, we can do our commercial.
All right. So this week's episode is brought to you by The Empty Void That Once Contained My Soul.
That sounds absolutely delightful. Thanks, Devin. This episode is also brought to you by the Nerds from Nowhere store. Go to www.nerdsfromnowhere.com/store. You can buy nerdy t-shirts made by us or nerdy shirts we thought were cool, all of which help out a podcast, so check it out.
Amazing.
our very official sponsor.
We're sponsored by ourselves. That's it.
Hey, I've sponsored myself plenty of times. Believe me, when I made a movie, when I produced a movie, I was my biggest sponsor financially, so I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's cool. That's great. I love it. I'm gonna have to check out that site.
Yeah, thanks.
That's super generous of you. We appreciate that.
Nerdsfromnowhere.com.
Yeah.
www.nerdsfromnowhere.com /store.
So it's y'all's site, but then there's a merch section.
Yeah. There's just a store. Yeah, link on there.
Yeah.
But
the store links to a different site that I never remember the name of, but that's where all our merchandise is.
Very cool.
So,
very cool.
But the Nerds from Nowhere, that's where all our episodes and stuff are. And that's where this episode will be.
Are you guys from the same town?
We went to the same high school. We don't live in the same town now, but we grew up together.
Oh, cool. And
Yeah.
and Jim, where's your town?
Sorry.
What town? What town are you guys in?
So I live in a tiny little town called Gunnison.
Gunnison.
Yeah, it's like smack dab in the center of Utah. If you,
I feel like you drive. Is does the 10 run through Gunnison?
We have
no.
we have I-15 that runs. That's the major freeway, I-15.
I feel like I've been to Gunnison.
You might have. Let's. I don't know if you've been to Manti or Snow College. I'm trying to think of what else is out here that you would have seen.
Well, you know, we shot Westworld in Page, Utah.
Hmm.
But that's like near the Four Corners. I feel like we used to drive to Crested Butte. Would you drive through Utah? Now I'm going to be grasping at straws.
No, that's okay. That Four Corners area, that's where my mom grew up, down by Blanding and Monticello.
Oh, beautiful area up there, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Not much out there except for beauty, but not a lot of people.
Yeah, very few people.
Desolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm from Logan, Utah. I live up kind of by the Idaho border where Utah State University is.
So more people in your city.
Yeah. I live just outside of town, in a little town called Hiram, but I always just say Logan because it's the closest thing people would know.
And how far is Logan from Gunnison?
About 4 hours drive.
Oh, okay. So you guys are do most of y'all's catching up via phone and text in the show, probably, right?
Yeah.
Usually.
The show keeps us in touch, but we'll call or text, and we use a couple other little things to stay in touch. But yeah,
that's great. That's great, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Every now and then we end up near each other and hang out, but
yeah,
that's cool.
A 4 hour drive is just far enough that we don't get to make it too often. But
right, that's that's a drive. That's right. That's right. Gosh,
it's not bad.
That's cool, man. That's great.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe we would touch on our future excitement here before we wrap things up. Ronnie, what are you looking forward to? What's going on with you?
In terms of what's coming out, or
yeah, it could be anything. It could be something that you're involved with that's coming out, or something that you're wanting to watch. It could be anything.
Well, there is something that I'm very looking forward to that I'm shooting, but I should probably not say that because wouldn't want to jinx it, because I guess officially it hasn't been.
Okay, we don't want to get you in trouble.
But oh my God, what's coming out that I'm excited about? I would definitely say the Joker, but there's something that I saw the other day that I was like, I can't wait to see this. I want to see it. I think it's coming out now. Sorry. My mind is like flooded with stuff that I'm excited about.
That's okay.
Yeah. What was that trailer I saw recently? I think it's coming out like whatever. I'm looking forward to the Joker.
Okay.
So
I think
good answer.
I think that from an actor's perspective, that I think that it's foolish to go near the Joker after the spectacular job that Heath Ledger did. But I think that Joaquin Phoenix is maybe one of 2 or 3 people that could pull it off.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Yeah. If there's anyone other than him, I'm not into it. And that's no disrespect to the
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. Because he did he was 100% committed, and God bless him. And probably a better job than I could do. But again, I wouldn't take part of the Joker.
It's so hard to step into those shoes.
Yeah.
Those are some big old clown shoes to step into.
That's right. But Joaquin Phoenix, I'm 100% interested.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm really curious to see that. I think it was a great casting choice. I really do.
100%. What about you guys?
Do you want to go next, Joe?
Sure. Venom comes out at the beginning of October. We've talked about it a little bit before on this show, but I'm really excited to see what they do. A Venom movie with no Spider-Man in it. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see. At the very least, it'll be fun to watch. Whether it's deep, I don't know, but it'll at least be fun to watch.
Yep. Is Tom Hardy wearing another mask in this?
I don't know if there's any physical mask or if it's just all CGI, but it looks pretty scary.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
So you're a fan of comic books?
I wish I had time to actually read comic books. I'm definitely a fan of comic book movies.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
I like comic books.
Yeah.
I haven't read them in a while, but I like them.
Do you know much about Venom?
I haven't read any of the comic books that he's in. I know a little bit about him just from
being so involved. Yeah.
But
video
I don't know
games and the Spider-Man from the cartoon from when we were growing up.
Yeah.
So he's human.
Yeah, he's human and he has an alien symbiote. That's what the Venom part is. An alien symbiote that inhabits his body and gives him powers. But also he's kind of evil, so he kind of takes control some of the time. So,
yeah.
That makes sense.
From a storytelling perspective, is really an interesting idea because they get to kind of show that we all have that struggle inside between good and evil, but this is that struggle personified and kind of amped up to 1,000,000. So
that's right. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah,
I like it.
How about you, Devin?
So my future excitement is I've been toying with this idea that I've decided to actually do. I'm gonna start doing a Twitch stream. I haven't decided on a name, but I'm going to start painting Dungeons and Dragons minifigures on Twitch live.
I dig it.
But I have no idea how to do it. So it's going to be a fun learning experience, hopefully with an audience that can enjoy my lack of knowledge.
They'll either laugh with you or laugh at you, but they'll be laughing, so that's good.
Yeah. So
that's great, man. That's fantastic. Good for you.
Yeah, it should be fun. I think I'm going to start probably this Sunday evening.
Cool.
I'll tweet out some more information, but that's my future excitement.
Oh, that's very cool, man. That's a lot to be excited about. That's great.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I didn't know you were pulling the trigger on that, so that's cool.
I decided today.
That's great.
Amazing.
Well, Ronnie, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate you. Appreciate you being here with us.
Hey, invite me back anytime, guys.
We will take you up on that.
Hopefully, when I got something fun to talk about, you'll let me come back on and talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
What's the best way for people to follow you and what you're up to?
I'm at Ronnie G Blevins on Twitter, and then same on Instagram. I think. Let me check. Let me say it. God, this is stuff I should know.
That's okay.
Hold on. Let me look at what my Twitter is. I'm an idiot. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
Cross reference here.
I do that too. I'm always like, my Twitter is. It's I don't remember.
It's at Ronnie G Blevins.
Cool.
And then Instagram. God, does anyone use Facebook anymore? I think our parents do. Right?
my nephews always tell me that Facebook is for old people, but it's the only thing that I know how to do. So.
You're so funny. That's amazing. That's amazing. But that means you're old.
Yeah.
And then my Instagram is at Ronnie Jean Blevins. So.
Cool. That's
yeah,
great.
man. Cool.
And everyone out there, if you want to reach us, you can hit us up on Twitter at Nowhere Nerds or on Facebook at Nerds from Nowhere. You can also hit us up by email at thenerds@nerdsfromnowhere.com. Thanks for listening and for watching.
Oh, bye, guys.
Thanks, Ronnie.
All right, buddy. See you soon.
Yeah,
Bye.
see you
Yeah.
soon.
Thank you.
Mhm.